What? I get bored of wearing the same outfit, okay? Firstly, if you've gotten used to 60 frames a second, this is going to be a bit jarring. I think it's 30 frames a second, maybe 25. It's hard to tell. I've been spoiled with 60 frames a second games. It's also rendered with sepia tone and black lines everywhere, making it look like you're walking through an old style cartoon. Ah, flickering! God, if you're an epilepsy sufferer, maybe don't play this one. It's sending my eyes weird. You start in the entrance of the studio, and things are quiet, in the time-honoured tradition of scary games everywhere. The vacant chairs, the suggestive puddles of ink, the writing on the wall, the mysteriously mobile cutouts. It's all suitably creepy. Save point.
Punching in.
I like that. Puzzles are simple. Grab item A, place on pedestal B. Yeah, it's not the most innovative puzzle system you've ever seen. I mean, they barely qualify as puzzles. There's no actual inventory. You have to press the pause screen to bring up a list of items that you've still yet to find, but that's about it. It's more like an objective screen than anything else. And items brightly glow as well, so you're not really pushed to find them. Movement is a bit weird. It's hard to describe, but I'll give it a go. Moving in certain directions causes you to move in slightly the wrong direction sometimes. It sort of swerves in a very awkward manner. Sometimes it makes me feel like a drunk horse. Also, it makes the mistake some other games make. Thinking head bob is a good thing, rather than the nausea-inducing annoyance it actually is. So turn the camera motion off if you know what's good for you. Run away! I don't know what I'm running from, mind you. I didn't really get to see it before I had to turn and flee. There are weapons, but you only get them if the game's feeling generous. Here's an annoying quirk. The game won't let you pick puzzle objects up unless you already know where they go. It's right there! But unless I've already found the slot that it fits, it won't let you pick it up. Another annoying thing, chasing this sodding ink creature around this, wherever this is, sewer pipe place. You're supposed to chase him under the anvil, that much is obvious, but he only stands in specific places. And it makes it really hard to judge whether you're successfully corralling him or not. I ran around in circles for bloody ages before I just randomly forced him under it. first death! Yay! And? Oh, I can move! You're supposed to walk down the ink tunnel to restart. Did not get that at first.
Hello? Someone there? I know you're in here. Come out and show yourself.
A mysterious summons. An abandoned studio. Ink creatures. Does anybody else think this guy sounds way too relaxed about all of this?
Wow. I don't remember any of this.
The game is good at creating atmosphere, building tension through the creepy, deserted corridors, for example here up to your encounter with Angel. Until it ditches the idea and goes into quest mode. Angel makes you go on errands for her, and this section goes on for far too long. There are no less than 6 quests, all of which involve usually grabbing a tool, bashing enemies with it, and returning the dropped items to her front door. Fun! And all this happens inside a tall 5-story tower type area. And the elevator buttons are badly labelled. It's not a maze, and yet it's easy to get lost. And as if all that wasn't irritating enough, Bendy can show up at random. Okay, there are some scripted moments here and there, but he can, pretty much, show up whenever he damn well pleases. You get a bit of a warning. The environment fills with this inky effect all over the walls, the ceiling, the floor, which makes it even harder to see where you're going. At which point your only hope is to hide in a cupboard until he goes away.
Now that was fun. Oh, but I forgot to mention, he hates it when I do that. I would hide if I were you.
If he catches you... Or if he catches you, so what? I mean, the only thing he does is he sends you back to the nearest restore point. It doesn't even take any of your progress or your items off of you, for goodness sake. It just relocates you. That's it. And then he buggers off and leaves you alone for a long while. The big bad of the game, ladies and gentlemen, and he barely qualifies as a threat. God, my eyes, it's so dark. Why do games confuse dark with scary? Another thing that bothers me is the constant sepia tone. At first it looks foreboding and inventive, but after you've been staring at it for a few hours, it just gets boring to look at. Some more colours besides brown and black, please. Room, pipes, crank wheel.
Definitely something missing here.
I literally just saw the crank wheel. Going back for it. I mean, why? I could have picked it up when I was there. Ooh, spooky library. I like it. See, when the game's being spooky, it's brilliant at it. It just doesn't do it often enough. Now this is a nice break. Funfair attractions. It's a fun set of diversions from slotting items into their slots and occasionally whacking an enemy. It says a lot that I'm about halfway into a 6-hour game at this point, and this is the most imaginative the puzzles have been. Oh, and there's even a creative boss fight waiting in this area for you too. This game needed more of this. And less of this. This boss fight is pretty much 80% running away. And did I mention you can't run very fast? And only in a forwards direction? Oh god, the motorboat! Ah! You have to hold the switch in place to move forwards. Very slowly. And just when you think it can't get any slower, the paddles jam with ink, forcing you to clear them. Then get back to the switch. Oh, and then they jam again, so clear the paddles. Hold the switch. Clear the paddles. Hold the switch. Clear the paddles. Hold the switch. Clear the fucking paddles! I think there's something chasing me in the ink, but the first person view doesn't let me look at it and at what I'm doing at the same time. And it's so slow and mind-numbing. I really don't give a toss if I'm being chased. This is the slowest chase I've ever seen or been in. It's absolutely bizarre, but the game seems to go through peaks of atmosphere, punctuated by extreme tedium. It can't seem to make its mind up what it's trying to do. Scare me to death or bore me to death. Speaking of which... Is this going to end? Apparently not. So I went on the interweb. Okay. So it turns out this is a glitch. It's supposed to end after 3 waves. And the only cure is a reset. So I reset and fight. And this time the fight ends. And head for the exit. where is the exit? Oh, for crying out loud! Okay, so this is also a glitch. Alice is supposed to open the way forward for you. Reset. And there we go. Bloody hell. And as if that wasn't enough, then there's a maze. Okay, it's not much of a maze, it's more like a circle with a couple of corridors in the middle somewhere, but it is patrolled by 3 ink monsters that will kill you with a couple of hits. And at the other end of this circular corridor is a fountain containing an ink blob you need. Then you need to head back, all without getting caught. And without a weapon. Because obviously, it's slow and a huge pain in the ass. And making it even worse, you have to do this 3 fucking times. Who the hell came up with this? Except, it isn't quite as bad as all that. Because you can outrange monsters by simply walking away from them, and they have to hit you twice. So you keep moving away from them, and they can't do anything to you. This isn't like Hello Neighbour, where you get caught instantly and bang, straight back. And you don't lose your items either. So, my recommendation is this. Start at the beginning, obviously, and then run to the other side, grab the ink blob from the fountain, and then just let one of them KO you from behind. And they'll teleport you straight back to the entrance without you having to walk there. 3 times. I mean, it's stupid. I won't spoil the ending after all this, but I do like the final boss fight, and I do like how you defeat Bendy in the end. There's a few stages to the fight, each one is different, it doesn't take too long overall, and it's tense. It makes me think different people design different bits of this game, because some bits are awesome, and some bits are terrible. When it does atmosphere, it does it very well. The cardboard cutouts are placed everywhere, making Bendy feel omnipresent. Jump scares are very rare, but that just makes them more effective when they do happen. And it's very good at building tension in places with signs, audio logs, and sound. It fumbles the ball when it asks you to actually do something. Puzzles are absurdly simple and barely qualify as puzzles. Items are frustratingly impossible to pick up until your character decides he needs it. Combat is also simple and your health regens too quickly, limiting how threatening enemies are. And some sections are personally too dark for my liking. The best games do a lot with very little. This does very little with very little. It's great at the atmosphere, but bad with actions, and some sections take way too long to complete for no reason, apart from the fact that it forces you to move slowly, because. It's weird that it feels like a game of 2 halves. I would have thought that the short length of it would have made it easier to even out. But then again, I suppose if Resident Evil Village can do it, so can this. Right, that'll do for this video. What did you think of it? Leave a like or dislike down below. Have you played Bendy and the Ink Machine? Do you agree, disagree with me? A lot of people seem to like this game. I mean, it has its good points, but for me it's a bit half and half. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you think. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, that's a separate thing. Or if you want to inflict my irritating persona on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.